Well, hello forage tubers, we are in Epping Forest again on a very warm spring day. The sun is poking through the clouds now. Things are very much still wintry around here. We've had some very bad cold snaps. They predict another one over the Easter weekend, and this weekend in fact as well. Just gonna have a little look around, see if we can find any wild food, any shoots coming through. To have a look at up here in the lovely Epping Forest. Nice patch of mud here. Always interesting to have a little look to try and find some prints, see what's been walking around. And quickly over there, you can see it is a hoof print. So we have some deer in the area. In fact, I've heard by a couple of people in the visitor centre that we got some muntjac. They're quite bold and like to come all the way up to it. So I would say that would be a couple of muntjac hoof prints there. Now, we've been struggling to find much. This part of the woodland is fairly dry, it's elevated, and like I said, lots of cold snaps, but we do have some green shoots coming through. We have some plants that are showing through the leaf litter. Over here, some young nettles, stinging nettles, which you could pick the tops with a pair of gloves, which I do have, and make them into tea, or to boil them and use them as a vegetable. Highly nutritious, packed with vitamin C, antioxidants. Obviously, we know for generations people have been making nettle tea. And over here and over there, if you can see it, we got some bittercress coming through, which is a wild woodland vegetable. Bittercress, as you can tell, people use it similar to cress. It's a salad leaf, but call it bittercress because of the flavor. But it is still palatable. So we got some bittercress coming through, so I think we're gonna take some of that for a salad at home later on. Hi forage tubers, here I am back home in the kitchen. Got my chopping board out, got the bittercress, and you can just see at the top of the screen the young stinging nettles there. So what we're gonna do is clean up that bittercress, clean up those nettles, and first thing we're gonna do is make a nice chicken roll, bittercress and cheese sandwich, see how that tastes. So let me clean those greens up and we'll come back to them. Okay, so what we've done now is removed any detritus, any unsavory parts. We've also, so just looking for any brown parts or any bits that we can pull out. Now, just a little background on bittercress. It is a very common plant. It's a member of the cabbage family, also mustard family. Or includes mustard. Very common plant. You may have seen it in the garden and said, well, that's just a weed. It also is common when you buy a plant from a garden centre that you might find bittercress growing in there. That's because it likes two things. It likes disturbed soil and it also likes moist soil. Those are conditions that you are going to find in a garden centre where they're working with disturbed soil, and obviously they're regularly watering the plants. When we're talking about wild food foraging in woodlands, you need to look for damp places that will support this bittercress today. I found around a fallen rotten tree. It was growing on the stump of the tree, and it was growing around the little recessed area that had collected some rainwater, so it's nice and luscious. So we've cleaned it, we've pulled the detritus out of it, and any unsavory bits. So we're now going to chop this up. Bittercress is a good edible plant, and very common, so it's good for the wild food forager in the UK. It's also found around Eurasia and found its way to all sorts of places by way of introduction, even as far as Madagascar. But it is a good edible, and it's got a nice peppery flavour. I'm a lover of rocket, so you could call this in a way the wild English version of rocket. But it's full of vitamin C, as you would imagine as a microgreen. So let's chop it up and prepare it for the sandwich. So we've gone for the choicest parts of the bittercress plants. So it's all nice and washed and all chopped into smaller parts now. Something to say for interest for the wild food forager is there's not much that really looks like bittercress. It comes up in a nice little rosette, as you saw earlier in the video, and It has that peppery flavour, that delightful flavour. Again, there's nothing that you could worry about that you might do when collected wild mushrooms that is particularly similar, and it is abundantly common, grown in damp areas on disturbed soil, fairly easy to identify. This is the hairy bittercress, variety of bittercress, also known as lamb's crest, and we're now going to put that in our delicious sandwich. So here we are. I've gone and prepared part of the sandwich on some nice batch bread, just some chicken roll rather than any nice sliced chicken breast, but got some medium cheese on there. Again, I'm not the best at cutting cheese, but please forgive that. And we've got the nice bittercress here, the hairy bittercress. So we're just going to put that on because I love it when cheese melts onto greens. So I'm going to put that on there, and again, this is a delicious, and well, that's probably more than enough. I think we'll save the rest for later. So let's see if I can flip that part on top. Not too bad, probably 6 out of 10 for flipping one piece of bread into the other. I'm going to pop that in the microwave because I like my sandwiches to be warm, and then we're going to do a taste test. So you can see me now, sandwich is done nice and warm with some nice batch bread. My son's about to come in and make some noise, so let's give a quick taste test, which I know you'll want to see. Thank you, love. It's good. Nice medium mature cheese, and then the peppery kick, of the bittercress comes through nicely. Delicious sandwich with some wild microgreens. This is Foraging. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time for more wild food, foraging and survival videos.